Good morning, this is Kim Watson speaking. Welcome to Traders View this morning, Traders Outlook. And let's have a look firstly at the risk events that might be upon us. Of course, there's the geopolitical events that are going on where apparently Russian newspapers are claiming that Ukraine has fired on separatists. Or anyway, whatever's happening out there, it shook the markets earlier on. It seems to ease back a little bit at the moment. Fed meeting yesterday, or Fed minutes yesterday, not really done too much. It seems quite light on that front. So let's have a look at the news out today. We've already seen the Australian employment change sticking at sticking. It's 12.9 thousand more jobs, which is good. Unemployment rate sticking at 4.2. So pretty much in range, giving scope at some time, but the Reserve Bank of Australia are firmly in the camp of not doing anything risky this year, or might be a slight increase at some point. So long as that holds up as it is, the Aussie dollar will be on a slight back foot. However, let's look at what we got else today. 1:30 got the Fed Philly, or the Philly Fed, Philadelphia Fed manufacturing index coming out at 1:30. Unemployment claims at 1:30 as well. Never a great movers. G20 meetings, I'm sure there'll be plenty on the table talking about the situation in Ukraine, but we'll see what comes from that. More importantly, 4 p.m, 10 p.m. are the Fed speakers, which will come out later. Well, I would expect that we'll just see a continuing of this more hawkishness coming through from most of them at the moment, with the way the inflation's been pushing. So that's after normal day trading anyway, for me anyway. The day's done by then. Right, let's have a look at the markets then themselves. Well, it's not a great deal of movement. Euro here, it did manage to close positively yesterday, gave up part of that this morning through the early session of the markets there, but has since recovered there. So there we go. It was sitting there. We finally broke out of the area, the consolidated area there, managed to push off south, but then since bounced off its regression trend line there, so the actual mean line. So bit of a bounce off that. At the moment it's looking, well, still lower highs, lower lows on this, and but a break of that 4 hourly 50 and the 114 area could see more bullishness coming through. Shorter term time frame here, there you go, see, just straightforward. There is news also, I should have said, that some troops have been moving away from the borders, so that may also be helping things this morning. No real trend sitting here at this stage. It's quite a mess, isn't it, on the 60-minute? When I look at charts like this, and you sort of think, well, where would I want to be trading? And it's too complex. As I say, the 114 area seems more sense. By the time it's done that, it'll have done a day's range effectively, so probably not a lot in fuel in the tank for a day trade, maybe for a swing. The pound dollar did pretty well yesterday, closed pretty much near its highs, held on quite firmly. Again, you come down to this 4 hourly and it is just such a mess, but there is that sort of hint of continuation to the upside, and I say hint lightly because it's they're not easy markets to sort of be reading when you see these sort of quick retracements coming through 3 o'clock in the morning there, then pushing back up there, but it's looking like we could, as I say, at some stage break towards the upside. We'll see how things develop this morning. It just seems to me that the markets, they want to brush off this Ukraine situation. If they can brush it away, we'll see a bit more of a continuation of the upside for the European currencies at least. And dollar yen dollar yen selling off selling off the dollar. So again, just same old picture right the way through the markets. A sort of movement as we've gone through the Asian session there, seeing a little bit more movement. Is largely all in one buy. It's a risk on event effectively at 3 o'clock there, but it's not really come off. And this is the problem of trading the yen and looking at the yen too much. It does this. It takes up the risk. So where's the other currencies are selling off here? The dollar's sold off against the yen. The yen's benefited, and then yet the yen's not really benefiting now when the others are benefiting. It's neutralizing itself, so it makes it very difficult currency pair to be trading. Occasionally swings get in there, but I don't trade it very often at all. Aussie dollar, this does look like it's got a bit more fuel in the tank on a daily basis. It's regardless of everything else that seems to be going on, recovering from that sell-off through the Asian session there, bouncing off its 4-hourly 50, looking like, as I say, more in there, but it's pretty much with the overnight situation. It's pretty much worked a full day's range almost, but perhaps it will push on upwards. But again, not of real interest to me. Canadian dollar, you know, the answer is going to be on this. It remains consolidated within that range. So long as it sits in this range, there's not a lot I can do with it. It needs to buck its ideas up, literally. That's my school reports used to say. It does need to do something here. Lower highs, lower lows on the 4-hourlies originally, the earlier part of the week, bouncing here, recovering a little bit. Maybe actually looking at it, there is a trend line across the lows there, and the break of that will give more downside potential, providing it breaks early enough. If we either see it earlier this morning or later this afternoon, I'll be more interested in that. But for now, quite a mess yesterday. It's just a complete solid mess yesterday, not really going anywhere at all. We could just end up in more of the same. There isn't that much in the way of news to drive things unless those Fed members later on say something unusual. Okay, let's move across to look at a couple of commodities. Just looking at gold first. So gold saw the benefits. I've seen the benefits so far. Yesterday it did actually manage to knock out a reasonable day, pushing up there, but that was sorry, yesterday. I'm looking at yesterday now. It didn't. It broke. Leading into yesterday morning, it did pretty well. Then we saw the move back towards the weekly pivot, selling off. Big pardon. It was yesterday. It was pushing up well. I'm looking at a 4-hourly chart. Beg your pardon. That was Tuesday. It came off. Wednesday it's pushed back up. Here Thursday it's continuing. I need to get my days together. It's round its prior highs here. Some key levels sit around these prior highs. I've got a few lines on the quite a way away now. Maybe on a different chart, a higher time frame chart. Yeah, it's right away on the dailies here. I've got a few lines above, but oh no, they've all gone now. We've gone obviously through one of them, but it looks like it's got some potential, but slowing up where it is at the moment, that's for sure. Quick look at silver. Just do this once or twice a week. Silver consolidation really is not really going anywhere too far. There's 4-hourlies again. It came down earlier in the week there Tuesday. It's recovering from that sort of move, and looks like it might have some more in the tank, but it's slowish. It's doing the high lows, higher highs, so yeah, moving in the right sort of direction for the upside at the moment on silver. Right, and a quick look at oil. Oil continuing to see the push mostly to the upside. Bit of a correction yesterday again, eventually, but it did come up pretty close to the previous day's highs there. It sort of ran into that sort of level again, and then eventually rolled over in the afternoon, selling off, but again bouncing as we go through here. the risk events coming in. 3 o'clock saw a really push, a decent push, and it's going at the moment. But again, this market tends to slow up during the mornings quite often, and give us the opportunities in the afternoon, like it did yesterday. Although it was very, very slow before it got its wiggle on. But so at the moment, I would keep the gunpowder dry, but there might be some more in this for later on this afternoon. One thing to watch out for, though, just looking at this chart, is the lower highs and the lower lows. There is that sort of descending channel appearing on here on this 60-minute. You can see it actually clear on the 4. So there is a bit of a descending channel. So just be wary that if this does push up for another high, it might be a lower high. Just watch out for that trend line. Right. Okay, let's look at the switch markets here and go and have a look at. Let's just change the time frames on here to got a daily time frame. There we go. Looking at the yields, actually, I'm just looking at yields first. Did come off yesterday at one stage. It was starting to move off. Moved off this morning. He says, "Yep, they've moved off this morning at one stage, but recovering a little bit at the moment, which will put pressure towards the US dollar." Okay, indices, what time is it? 7:57. Let's have a quick look there. Indices wise, well, not much movement in the Hong Kong CSI 300. Not a great deal of movement. It's really just mirroring yet okay, ended up positive, but very small movement there. Still, to me, looks overall bearish. The Nikkei, it has been bearish. Closed down on the day, pushing below yesterday's lows there, just looking soft. So market's just looking that tad softer. Let's go and have a look at the Nifty 50, keeping over there. Nifty 50 struggling into its 21 again, just struggling. And even when things get cleared out with the Ukraine-Russian situation, hopefully soon, we might see some little rallies, but I still think the bigger picture might, on a lot of these equity markets, may be to the downside for now. Let's have a quick look in the European bourses then. DAX. DAX off this morning at the moment. Let's just check that is live feed. Yeah, live feed. The futures there. Down at the moment. I'm just losing a bit of connection. So DAX down a little bit at the moment. CAC also just running off a little bit at the moment, but again, with all these markets, they're pretty, the S&Ps, they're very similar in shape in terms of price action as I run through them. The Nasdaq's still in its triangle there, not really pushing much at all yesterday, even though there was sort of more positive news and the discussions of sort of Russian soldiers being moved. You thought that might just sort of give a little bit more of a bounce, but just not really working its way through. We'll come back to the FTSE, but it's 7:59, not quite open yet. Ended up on a down day yesterday, but again, it'll probably mirror the others and be quite neutralish this morning when it does open. Okay, oh, there it goes. There it goes. It's just open, and coming off a little bit. There we go. Going up a bit, going off, coming off. So quite neutral at the moment. It's not sort of moving with any great gusto that we've seen recently. Looking across to the crypto markets, the Bitcoin continues sitting around its key levels here. Still hanging in there. It came off a bit yesterday, but hanging in there. That 46 area, still a line in the sand, and something a lot of traders are watching out for. A break of that. Now, does make me wonder if so many people talking about it, will we just get a push of it and it rolls back in? There's a possibility of that, so just need to be careful if that does happen at some stage. But it does change the dynamics. It does make it look a better market. And I mean, we've got these trend changes coming in with Ethereum breaking its trend line, etc. Same thing. Again, still waiting to see if it can push up there and break the highs. Ripple similar picture. And if you go through most of these markets, of course there are the laggards such as Cardano lagging. Litecoin's doing okay, but slightly slower, behind in there. It's basically still in their downward trends effectively, some of these markets, so a bit slower. Binance doing a bit better, and again not that far away from a key 445 area, 446 key point, which gives us a confirmed higher low, and we'd expect a bit more bullishness, so it's maybe one of those that benefit to the upside. Okay, that's pretty much it on gold. Is big money still not enthusiastic about it? What was the last look at gold? Gold, it picked up a little bit actually on gold the previous Tuesday, but it has been quite neutral on it, but it sort of did pick up. It was a net positive position last week's position, but the general feeling is not that bullish. Yeah, some of these are gonna. Some of the gold miners themselves are still going to do well. They've been selling gold at much better prices. They'll be selling their future gold and taking the profits whilst they can. So make some of the gold miners quite profitable. This. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. I'll just answer those questions. Christina, take care. I'll catch you guys later. Bye for now.